Council to order. Please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Mayor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. I'm here. Mr. Jarrett. Mr. Karafinsky. Here. Mr. Learn. Here. Mr. Mokia. Ms. Troyani.
Here.
Ms. Wozniak.
Here.
Mayor Burke.
Here.
Borough Manager.
Here.
Chief of Police.
Here.
Solicitor is not here. Engineer is not here. DPW Foreman.
Here.
Reporter, I don't, oh, here. Okay, he's here. Okay.
Oh, hey,
We got the substitute tonight.
yeah.
He was hiding in the back.
See, he's wearing his Bills colors. That's a good football game yesterday.
Fire Chief.
Here.
And Code Enforcement.
Here.
Okay. Review and approve the current agenda.
So just pointing out that there are two discussion-only items that I've added today. I also had to add a resolution for applying for a grant. There's some misunderstanding on the date things were due, so just making sure that we have the resolution done to apply for the grant. I have that on today as well.
Okay, any questions?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to approve changes. I have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. It passes. Presentation. Mayor, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Anybody want to come up and join us, please? We are replacing our current acting chief of police, and we are putting him in a position permanently. And with me, everybody should come. Please raise your right hand. I, Reagan Rafferty,
I, Reagan Rafferty,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the
of the
Constitution
United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of this Commonwealth,
of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and that I will discharge
the duties
the duties
of my office
of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you.
May I have Mrs. Rafferty, please?
There's a couple of them.
This is you. Very sharp point. If he's ever made you mad before, this may be your time. I'm just saying, okay? Please pin that on him. Ladies and gentlemen, our new permanent chief of police.
Item number 5, citizens correspondence, personal appeals, agenda items only. Does anybody have anything they want to address council on concerning anything on the agenda? Not hearing anything? We'll move on. Business not ready for action. Mr. Scoblin.
So you all received your budget 2 weeks ago. I had really nothing in the way of questions coming to me. So I'm going to hope that means that everything made sense to everybody. I will say this year specifically, the year we're coming into, there's a few things that we're specifically looking to do. We need to get our MS4 wrapped up. We're hopefully gonna get the mansion squared away and transferred from borough ownership over to historical society ownership, but there's some roof stuff to finish up there. But in general, this is a year where these big projects are probably gonna scale back a hair compared to where we were for the last 4 or 5 years, as we, I think, fully come out of the COVID era of Berwick spending. So, it's time to really say, let's make sure that we know where we're at financially in a somewhat normal year, as we begin to plan what we're gonna do and moving forward from there. So there really aren't a lot of what I would consider to be major projects, for that reason. So it's not the most exciting budget, but you have it, and if you have questions that you didn't ask me ahead of time for some reason, I will do my best to answer them now.
I don't have any questions, David, I just have pretty much a statement to make. You and I talked about this earlier. You all here at City Hall know this money. And I am trusting you guys, and I feel really, the table, as I went through it, compared year over year, compared to where we are year to date in 25, it certainly looks realistic to me.
So generally speaking, when we're doing budgeting, my goal is to, for revenues, estimate low, and for expenditures, estimate high. That's as, be as conservative as I can with that. Not when I say estimate high on expenditures, not to spend more, but to say in an absolute worst case scenario, realistically, this is where we're gonna land. We're all stewards of public money. We want to use that in a way that represents the best interests of the people of Berwick, and that's what we're gonna aim to do. Listen, I will say, I did not ask for a tax increase this year. I will always have to at least say, my recommendation is always to at least consider, is it worth doing small incremental increases? Because the day will come when we will need one again. Unfortunately, things are not getting any cheaper, and there's just really no way that revenue is going to keep up with expenditures that are eventually having a tax increase of some sort. That being said, we don't need one this year. I understand that odds are none of you are going to want one this year if we don't need one, but.
It's a philosophical discussion we've had in this room
Yeah.
many times. Is it better to do increases versus one? I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Personally,
And that's probably something
Need a
that-
tax increase, then let's not.
And that is my, it's my personal philosophy. I think that I would rather have small ones, but yeah, like you said, it's not like I'm gonna beat the war drum over that or anything. So, we don't strictly need one. Tom, I don't know if your head is thinking this or not, but we've talked about this before. This building thing specifically though, we talked about the idea of real estate taxes versus earned income tax. I was wrong before as far as our ability at this point to be able to increase earned income tax locally. I looked at the law better, and I misunderstood exactly how that works. So as of right now, it's a total 1%, but that's split between us and the school district. So as long as the school district is taking their 0.5%, which they are, we're capped. I think it's worth having conversations with state legislatures at some point as far as, you look at, someday we will raise taxes again. If it's real estate taxes, it's being felt by our retirees who are home trying to age in place. If it's income taxes, it's at least being felt more by people who are still able to work. But it's not an option we have right now, but I think it's something worth at least talking to legislature. Could there be a way to look at changing that rule slightly in the future? But, I don't know if you would ask me that or not, but we've talked about it before, so I figured I'd add an answer first just in case.
Okay.
I do have on the listen, I have on the agenda this evening, if we are comfortable with it and you want to advertise the budget, that is obviously not passing the budget. It's saying that this is what we're working with, and the public would then have time to view it and comment on it before a final passage. We can vote to advertise tonight. If you'd like 2 more weeks to marinate on it before doing so, that's certainly fine as well. You can vote to advertise it as long as we have it passed by 11:59 p.m. on New Year's Eve. We don't, you can vote to advertise it for passage in 4 weeks to give public 2 full meetings to come in and comment on. There's options. but I do have it on there just in case you're ready to vote to advertise only this evening.
So I have a question.
Sure. Can you give me a line number just to?
Line number 01.422, animal control. It's on the bottom of,
Yep. The very bottom of one of the expenditure.
Right.
It's I think
So-
page 4.
we're requesting $6,000 for animal control.
So I will say, a little bit more did come in, since we printed. It's at about 4,000 for the year currently. That being said, we talked previously that theoretically, this number should start to go down in time if it's working. I guessed on the 6,000. If council doesn't have an appetite for that, whatever number you put there is what number
But
is
just
available.
because 6,000 is in the budget doesn't mean we're gonna.
Right, but-
Give 6,000, it's still
Why-
coming before council.
I mean, it comes before council, but what I would say is, she's spending it and then getting reimbursement, so I do think she needs to have it's not fair to her to say, the budget's 6,000, but there's the risk the council might say at the end, we're not approving the spending of it. I really think whatever the number is, it should be clearly communicated just from a decency
But it
standpoint at the
should
beginning of the year.
also still be approved.
It will absolutely be approved before it's
So
spent,
what I'm
but
getting at is if it gets to the point, no, I don't do this, that's up to you.
Well, here's my
This
thing.
budget's in there.
They were here in April, I believe. They're a nonprofit. They raised $178,000 in 9 months on social media.
Yep.
Right?
I've got the exact number, it was a pretty
It was
big chunk.
178 and change. So, why are we spending taxpayer money to still fund something that they're a
Because they're
nonprofit?
doing a service for our taxpayers.
And correct me, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but correct me if I'm wrong, they service where Lori was doing it just for Berwick, right?
They service,
She services a bigger area, so I think like penalizing her for being a really good fundraiser online, like it's like saying, I'm not gonna donate to the Red Cross because they make all this money nationally or whatever. I think that it's still our responsibility to contribute.
We're paying for a service. is how I
Yeah.
look at it. And the services, they're TNR and cats in Berwick Borough. They're finding homes for kittens from Berwick Borough. And I think they've done a pretty good job over the last couple of years.
And I think she came in and itemized everything, right? She provides receipts and accurate from
Yes.
like where they were trapped.
What Teresa said, if they're raising money for their other work, good for them. And it's not
which
easy to
was
raise
great,
money.
they raised that much
Yeah.
money, but
But
my issue is still, how are they could say they got one in Martinsville Road, which is Berwick and Briar Creek. Like, how do we know exactly if it's in the borough or not, or if it's,
If it's streets that have, a line that's partially in or out, I do ask them to at least give me a little bit more. Now, listen, at the end of the day, I have no way of knowing if they're being honest. I have no way of knowing if somebody is standing just on this side of the borough line and going, here, kitty, kitty, right? We just don't know that for sure.
There
So
has to be a little trust.
so you decide, I mean, do you trust or do you not trust? And I mean, I barely know Robin from Adam, so I mean, like, listen, I don't know if any of you have a personal relationship or not. It's how much are you willing to trust Robin, and Will Hickson is kind of her second in command, and I mean, they both seem like just decent people who care. But I'm not arguing with you. Like, I mean, at some point you have to ask. We do ask those questions because at some point, I will be coming to you saying, a tax increase is necessary. That's where you start sharpening the pencils and figuring it out. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with scrutinizing and asking.
I'd like to blend those two conversations. If they did raise that much money, and like Jay said, just because we budgeted 6,000 or 4,000 doesn't mean we necessarily have to spend it. When do they actually ask us? Like, when is decision to give it to them? Like, do they come and ask us?
So they submit an itemized bill quarterly. So you'll see, roughly quarterly, maybe it might not be exactly that, but you'll see on there being made out to, and right off the bat, I'm not sure if it's being made out to Robin directly or Friends with Barrels, but it would be on the bill listing. And I don't know which of your packets that one specifically goes to offhand, but one of you are then signing off on that when you get your monthly. Okay,
that's mine.
I should.
Do you know what their annual budget is?
Their total annual budget? I don't know that right offhand. I can have that prior to next meeting.
But the original 6,000 was for Lori Allison, specifically for her. We gave her so much, then we gave her more money.
Yeah, it started out like 4.
2 or 4, and then it went up. But when Robin took over, my thing is it's a nonprofit, it's not an individual doing it, so it's,
I don't know if the cost of doing it has changed, I don't know that, because she has
I'm sure it's
a
still the same
nonprofit.
price, but where does she do the nonprofit that she's raising money for compared to taxpayer money? Like, you know what I'm saying, she has $178,000 raised. She said she used 153,000 or whatever, so. My thing is, why don't she exhaust her fundraising money before she comes to us?
But I would counter that and say, why should she spend their fundraising money to work for us?
And I think from what she explained when she was here, that they did specific fundraising for, like, there was amputation services, there was specific things that they had fundraised that all went to the same pot.
I get a lot of stuff.
So,
I follow
yeah.
on Facebook and I see.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know that exact answer, but.
Vet bills are not cheap.
Oh, I know, they're not cheap.
And we're not necessarily paying those.
I mean, listen, for full transparency, as we're having this conversation, I have a cat at my house that Friends and Barrels paid for an eye removal surgery on, so I mean,
Well, I'm just
so
looking
yeah,
at,
I mean, but they do a lot, but again, I'm not in any stretch of the imagination trying to shoot down what you're saying, like that is one of those questions that, you know, it's worth at least asking.
cause I think we could get, at least not, you know, even if we give her money, cut it in half maybe, and get something else like a drone for, like, I mean, tell you. We walked the test track yesterday. There's no homeless down there, there's no signs of anything, which is good. But when we were down there last year, there's tripwires and different things. With leaves, you don't know what you're stepping on. If we had a drone, use some of that money for safety, we wouldn't have to walk the trail, walk the river, we can view it from up above.
I mean, I would argue that with, like, depending on what time of the year it is, that it is a dense forested area down there. Like, what are you gonna see on a drone that you're not gonna see better on foot, right? Like, I don't know if that would be a cost effective.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I will say, like, I don't think it
We could
necessarily has
use a drone for other instances besides looking at the test track. We could use it for something for the police that we don't.
I don't understand your principle about using taxpayer money for a nonprofit. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars did we give out of COVID money?
Not
Which,
we, not all we. I know what you're saying though.
all right, they were taxpayer dollars, they weren't Berwick taxpayer dollars, but
No, but
they
they're still-
were to a point because they were federal, and we all pay federal.
I will say in
So-
in Tom's defense, and I don't think you were on council when most of those votes happened, so it is worth at least saying that.
But we, yeah, I know, but we as a, we hand out taxpayer money for nonprofits, we have in the past. I don't see $6,000, I agree with Jay, they're providing a service for us, and they're spending that $6,000 in Berwick. They're not spending it in Salem, they're not spending it in Black Creek, they're spending the money in the borough of Berwick for the borough of Berwick.
And they have a pretty good track record.
Yeah, and we don't get as many calls as we used to about feral cats. It's gone way down. I think it's money well spent.
The alternate solution, I mean, if we don't give them money and they don't provide the service anymore, like, what's the alternative? There is no other service that can provide this to us, at least that I'm aware of right now.
Well, I'm saying, get some of that money out, whatever, you guys are gonna do what you want. Cause I'm only one, so. The only question I had on it,
So you're comfortable, I mean, we're right now, as far as you're concerned.
I'm comfortable, and again, like I said, this is, nothing about this budget has to be final, like we'll then advertise, I mean, again, we're ahead of the curve, if you wanna advertise it for the beginning of, December meeting, that gives a full month for anybody to have a chance to come in, view the budget, submit any comments if they want to before passage happens.
Do you need a motion for that?
It's on the
It's on the
agenda
agenda.
here. And it allows time that we, see how the election happens, and certainly if there's anyone who's gonna be on council who's not sitting here currently, have a chance to offer some input as well. So, yeah, it makes sense to, give it time to breathe, but.
When you do this, Damien, do you sit down with Jack and Reagan and Bill and talk to them about expenses? Like,
So generally speaking, we get, requests from each of the departments.
Okay.
Most of the time, things are pretty much logical. I mean, you know, we're not gonna get into the weeds on some things cost are gonna cost. When it gets to the bigger project type things, or,
Yeah, I'm referring to like the big ones.
yeah, that's when we definitely have, we have the hard conversations, and some year those conversations are harder than others, and, you know, like Reagan, Bill for this year, his budget was pretty simple. He's not asking for a truck finally, we got his ladder, so he's gonna sit back and smile for a few years, right?
I always do the budget too.
Now, with Jack, we're talking through specifically looking at liquid fuels, and is it worth doing, you know, one of the streets this year? Are we looking at having a new vehicle purchase this year? Thankfully, we're good on our vehicles, so we're in the street. Reagan this year, we had the conversation that he just needs a little bit of time to wrap his head around. We're very conservative on our budgeting this time here, but the goal is to do a better job moving forward of being more precise, but, codes, you know, yes, we do have those conversations. Really long answer saying yes.
No, I appreciate that.
And then we have really good department heads who have a good grasp on what they're doing, and, yeah, well, I mean, they make my job a lot easier too, so, yeah.
I think too on that, Ray, too, to sum that up a little bit, Dee Dee's wonderful because I know every 3 months I come in and say to her, you know, up till April, we don't spend really much of what we can because the tax base coming in, but after that, we pretty much talk with Dee Dee 3 months at a time, or how we doing, how's my fire budget looking, and she'll.
She's on
track.
point.
If we're saying nice things about Dee Dee, I bother her every day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
I
on
know.
point, honestly.
No, I know, but I just want to see, it's not wait till November and see where we're at.
It's worth mentioning, as you're saying, that is not just the staff who's here every meeting. I hope you all recognize that we just have a great staff. And, you know, I know everyone, they compliment Jack all the time down there to see how bright his face gets. And, Reagan, we probably turn off that faucet real soon here. That's not like no one's business, but, we really do have an absolutely wonderful staff here doing a great job, and that's from employee 1 to 32, they're doing things right.
Any other questions or comments on the budget? Okay. Baja joint meeting.
So this is something that I actually should have on last meeting and missed and almost forgot about. I have a request from Gloria to have a joint meeting between council and Baja at a quote-unquote neutral location for the purpose of discussing.
I was just picturing us meeting at the tracks or something, like, it's the neutral location, like, downtown, I don't know.
For the purpose of discussing the possibility of plant expansion into other sections of the test track, specifically a recycling center, because that's the spot that's not in the floodplain, which is also why we did. I am sharing the request that got to me. You know, you are welcome to agree to meet, you are welcome to say no, you are welcome to kind of do in the middle and say,
Why do we need to?
I think they know when we meet, so they could come in anytime they want to meet. Well, that's too bad.
Why on neutral ground?
We're not neutral.
we can paint the floor a nice beige.
Oh, that's right, they know we're not.
I mean, unless they have other, more information that would alter our opinion on that.
I mean, everything has a price, right, but,
Where are you gonna put your recycling center?
well, I said, if there's enough of a price to figure it out, but, no, I agree, I'm not arguing with you on that. There's a reason why our recycling center is there as well, it's a spot that's not in the floodplain. Our residents use it quite a bit. It would be incredibly unpopular to get rid of it, certainly. And as far as where you move it, I don't have a great answer for that. We're not exactly sitting on borough-owned land that we could use, so. No, I mean, I had a request to request the meeting, and if the response is, we don't feel there's a reason, and if you wanna come talk to us at council, you can, then that's the response I'll give back to Gloria and Baja.
Well, they can always come, we can't stop them from coming.
No, that's what I'm saying, that pretty much that, like, you're
I
welcome to.
think we all go to enough meetings that we don't need to have a meeting to have a meeting.
Well, that's, again, what I kind of thought as well, but it wasn't my place to make that statement for the 7 of you, so.
I mean, Nelson, can you give us some insight, like why would they?
Want to meet us behind the flagpole?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what are we doing?
With the prediction of the area increasing as far as population.
Yep, I get that.
Buildings and so on. to them, it makes more logical sense to have it added on to an existing plant, rather than to build another plant, which would be more costly all by itself. And the only place they can do that is where the recycling is. Now, I brought up that and I'm trying to stay neutral in it, okay? Have we, or can we look at the idea for a recycling spot?
I mean, like, maybe.
If that's the only reason why
We'd have to pay for that.
the council would not allow the land down there to be used for.
We'd have to pay for spot and be a DA.
So we would cater to them to give them what they want, and we would have to spend money to get what.
Yeah, I'm not gonna respond one way or the other, I'm trying to stay neutral, okay?
Well, you're on their board to represent us.
You're right, and that's
the
where I
residents.
stand too, I represent council, I don't represent them.
Why?
If they're worried about capacity, they should stop signing up other towns.
Correct.
That's where I'm at. You know, they have a problem with capacities, well, they just signed up South Center.
Right.
They shouldn't have.
I can't disagree with you.
You know, so, I mean, you can take that back to Gloria, or take it back to the board. That's my personal opinion. You know, if it's not an issue now, it shouldn't be an issue in the future, as long as they're circumspect with the people they sign up. You know, I was told 2 or 3 years ago that they had plenty of capacity, it was no issue. Okay, well, now all of a sudden it's an issue. Why?
I can't disagree with you.
Yeah, I mean, were we lied to back a couple years ago, or we're being lied to now? I don't trust Aja.
Have they had any,
We trust you.
yeah, have they
We
had
trust
any-
you, yes, but I don't trust their board.
Have they had any meetings with AWS to put a substation?
Not that I know of.
Like, I mean, I would think that would be a step in the right direction. I mean, cause that's where,
They've not had any meeting, but it has been discussed at the council, at the board, yeah. And I totally agree with that.
I do too. I mean, and I would think that it has to be on their radar. Yeah. Cause they requested water to come up there. So it's on their radar.
$21 million worth.
What's that?
$21 million worth.
Exactly. It's gotta be on their radar. I think, I think we just need, they're probably sitting back saying, well, they're gonna do it, let them do it, but we go to them and be like, listen, you guys gotta do it. Like, you're putting too much pressure on ours.
There are votes that have been taken down there, and I support council. Council puts me there to do and represent council, and that's how I'm gonna stand to do anything.
And as they increase costs, building a separate facility or improving their infrastructure, that raises prices across the board. They're not doing it for the borough of Berwick, but it's gonna hit the ratepayers in the borough of Berwick.
And all the other units.
And all the, but if they're doing it basically because of Salem, because that's gonna be increased, let the Salem people pay for it. If AWS wants to pay for it, for the facility, that's fine, let them do it, but let the ratepayers in Salem, and I own property in Salem, so I'll get hit with the ratepayers. Let the ratepayers in Salem pay for it.
Cause
Leave the ratepayers everywhere else alone.
they're probably sitting on a bunch of money right now.
Oh, probably, I don't know, yeah.
But, and there's another entity coming up, there's just not AWS.
Yeah,
So
there is.
there's gonna be more.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So,
There is.
yeah, that, and again, that's why I think it should really be on sale.
Chad, would it be smart for us to consider giving up the recycling center?
Not in my opinion.
No, I don't think in anybody's opinion, really.
So you can express what our consensus is. It wasn't voted, but it's general consensus. Okay, number 3, 1140 rear Spring Garden Avenue.
So you have this map in front of you. If you start at the Essen Maps and come down Warren Street up halfway, you'll see an unnamed alley. If you just kind of turn to the right on that unnamed alley, you'll see where it says 1140 rear. The resident who lives there called me today. She saw the story in the paper about zoning and said, I don't know if this is zoning or not, but I wonder if you can help me. It's not zoning, but she indicated they have a big issue with packages and mail and things coming to her not making it to her. Sometimes it goes to regular 1140, sometimes it just gets returned, but it seems that places do not deliver to her. Her request was, is there a way to give that alley a name so that her address can be, 1140 whatever street, as opposed to having a rear address. Looking really quick, I think that she is the only one who is fronting on that particular one who has that address with that issue. I didn't go all the way down the borough line, but it doesn't look like it's a common issue. But I can see where it'd be an issue. So I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not sure the exact process for going through all this. I mean, council would have to agree the name. I'm assuming at the county level, we'd have to do something, submit something to Google /
As a person who lives on, I live at a rear address, and my packages never get to me. It is a crapshoot, so I can relate to this.
She should make friends with her neighbor in the front.
My neighbor didn't have to buy her a every once in a while. Package delivered.
Yeah.
This is all one, but this is just a start, that we own anyway.
Yeah, so,
We really got one residence and one storage.
yeah, so I mean, it is a quasi-paved section of alley. Jack, I mean, can you talk about the condition of that particular street? Jack, can you talk about the condition of that particular street? Like, it's paved, I'm sure it's in pretty rough shape.
No,
But it is a paved, in theory, alley.
yes.
And to be clear, she made no request for improvement or anything like that, just, she just asked if it could have a name, so.
Yeah.
Do we look into it, see what it would take to do?
Yeah, I told her if nothing else, we start the conversation, right now voting, so does anyone have any issue with me at least kind of poking around and seeing?
I mean, how is it gonna cost the same, right?
The only
I mean,
other property that fronts it is here, this garage, that is owned by Realty World.
I can't in my mind's eye picture this on the street level, like
Blair, Spring Garden, the front, Blair,
Yeah, okay.
the alley right behind our office. Right
Okay.
behind Los Angeles.
So, I mean, the cost would be at some point, I'm going to presume we would probably need to do something by ordinance.
Mhm.
So there's a
Cost
cost,
to advertise.
the cost to advertise
And the
there.
streets.
And the street sign.
Yeah.
We'll find a street that we don't have anymore, and just have that be some old signs hanging up, I don't know. Yeah, we'll just, we'll unretire a street.
East, west, north, we got mid.
Yeah, mid-Bowen, just put the W upside down.
Well, that was
Tell
couple.
them, please don't have them.
Yeah, right.
I didn't even think of this as an option. That's for next year.
Once there's precedent, you're fine.
What's your name?
I'll follow up next year.
Alright, so Damien will check into what it would take to do.
I'd sell the rights to the street, NFL.
Alright, let's go around the table.
There you go.
Here we go, we need some corporate sponsors.
Yeah, I would think you want more money than that though.
Oh dear. Alright, we'll start with Jack, we'll go around the table.
Pick up, this coming week, or this week, we started, so, anybody has leaves to the curbside. Otherwise, we're, mulching leaves and, taking care of, cleaning up, the parks. Sponsors Park is ready to go. Our guys worked really hard this summer and they did a good job. We're gonna clean it up this week, so it's ready to go for the weekend. But, that's all I got. Any questions?
Nope, nothing. Jay?
The only thing I wanna bring up, the personnel committee needs to meet, and Reagan got us, his requests last Friday, right? So we need to get together, the three of us, and then before the November 17th council meeting, we can have an executive session perhaps. Make sure everybody's on board, put it on as an agenda item. So we're covered, it's not on. And if for some reason we can't,
You can always table it if you need to.
we can take it, but if it's on the agenda, then we'll cover it.
Yep, okay. Anything else? Jerry?
I'm good.
So, going to Sponsor Park, we do have the ribbon cutting this Saturday from 12 to 2, at the park. Obviously, we'd love as many of you as possible to come down for that. We're gonna have a little bit of music going, we're gonna have big fans of big scissors to cut the ribbon, I'm hopeful that maybe a couple of you will volunteer to demonstrate how to use some of our new playground equipment. If you're feeling frisky,
What's the weight limit on this?
we'll raise it for you. Just keep one foot on the ground as you're going. It's like you're just gonna scale with your foot off. We're gonna have a couple different nonprofits are gonna be there set up. We're gonna have a couple food trucks. We have some, I think we're gonna have free hot dogs and chips and some water for people. Just kind of a nice, what's that? Teen center is serving it and someone else is paying to supply it. Yeah, we'll have our bounce houses set up. We'll make sure somebody is watching that. But yeah, it's it's set for Front Street Beat on Wednesday. We'll have it on Facebook here. We've sent stuff home with at least West Berwick Elementary. I'm not sure if we asked for West Berwick, thinking they were the name of the kids. They might have done all. I'm not sure. So trying to get it so as many kids want to come out as possible. Yeah, and I do just want to say too, Jack felt that the work the guys did. They keep telling me they're not park people. If they're not, I don't know what is. They've done a really great job. I realize it hasn't necessarily been their favorite project, especially by the end of it, but they've done a really nice job, and I hope everyone appreciates that. That's it.
That's it. I don't have anything. Mayor?
We'll make it quick. We are deep into our community giveaway programs already. We've already given out 56 winter coats. We have over 100 kids listed on our Christmas wish list. And I'm anticipating exceeding 70, 75 Thanksgiving meals going out. The need seems to go up a little bit every year. Tomorrow's election day. Good luck to everybody that's up and rocking. I'll be out supporting a couple of people. Not the mayor though, I'm not supporting him, but I'm supporting a couple of people. So, I agree with you, you're thinking like I am. So, but I got a couple of people out there I gotta get out and spend some time for tomorrow, and we'll take care of it. Thank you.
Chief?
Just real quick, I mean, the complaint we've gotten from here, and I feel like we get on a semi-regular basis, the e-bikes, we've kind of stepped up our enforcement for that. Just so everybody's aware, it's a little bit more educational at this point, stopping people and saying like, hey, are you aware of these kind of rules? I know it's getting a little bit colder, so that's starting to die off a little bit, but it seems to be at least being a little more respectable while riding them around at this point. I'm sure when, springtime we'll go back after it again that hard, and if the educational aspect doesn't work, then we'll start citing it.
Maybe we can use the winter to try to put together some kind of regulation. Many municipalities have regulations on the e-bikes. They're a little out of hand. I mean, I get them going down Route 11 at 4:30 in the morning with no lights on. So, before something happens, really wouldn't be a bad idea to spend a winter and, toss it around a table and see what kind of ideas come up.
Anything else, Chief?
Nope, that's it.
Teresa?
No, we talked about, at last meeting, we talked about, doing something for, at Sponsors Park after the ribbon cutting, like some kind of community Christmas thing. I'm gonna try to nail down a date today, cause you can't do anything without a date. I know it's like really short notice to plan something, but I've reached out to a couple, people that have, connections with vendor. Christine Oliver has, a lot of connections with food trucks and people that do, pop-ups and things like that, so.
And we also, we do have a number of Riverfest vendors, so I mean, if you want to, I think sitting down, you want to be interested, you can sit down and just hammer out a couple things. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on this time of year, we don't feel like we need to take that all on.
Yeah, and even if it's just something smaller, and if there's enough community interest in it to expand it next year to maybe utilize, the Test Track Park, if there's enough of a need for it, to do something a little bit down there, so that's what I'm thinking.
That's the furnace making that noise?
Oh, comforting, okay. I
Just checking.
questioned the noise that sounded like an air
Yes,
compressor in the ceiling.
like, no, that's the furnace.
Is that it, Teresa?
That was it, yes,
Okay,
sorry.
Two things. First, someone came to me the other day complaining, 8th and Walnut Street. The stop sign, we addressed it over a year ago. You can't see the stop sign, even though they know it's there, and I do the same thing. You come down and you go right through it. They almost got hit the other day, so they're asking, I said, we addressed it. Trailer, there's a camper, and
Yesterday, a guy come out of 7th Street, almost hit one, because he pulled right out front, he was gonna sit.
They have to move them so often, right? They can't be parked there, I mean,
Well, if they're,
It's more closed, like car hauling.
Kenny investigated that, Troy looked at that, they both said there's no vision problem. They said people need to pay attention when they're driving.
it's the
They
vision
didn't
of.
get that or see what you- It's all parked on walls. At night, you'll see what's sitting there on the right hand side, there's a trailer.
I've gone through it and I know it's there. So what I'm asking is, can Jack go paint white lines and say stop, like across the road,
Yeah,
so that someone knows there's even though we know it's there, but people forget it's there because they can't see it.
you could, the stop bar is gonna be in the travel lane, which is also, difficult to see. What I would make a suggestion that we could put a stop sign on the left-hand side, so that when
With
you're.
a flashing light possibly at night too,
Well, it'll be red,
because that, like now you
retroreflective.
wouldn't know it's there either.
Right,
I mean, you won't see the paint sometimes either though.
I mean, I'm sure you've all driven, in some areas where there are stop signs on each side of the street, and that's usually the purpose of that, so that draws people's attention, there's a stop coming up. So, we could try,
It's where.
we could
you know,
try
the
that.
garage burnt down.
Do
See if that
something there
works.
because someone almost got hit and like I said, I've gone through it and
Yeah,
It's been
Jay
there
just said
for,
almost.
that guy's been parking there for 10, 12 years.
Yeah, I know, but it seems like he gets creeping closer to that.
well, I mean, it
Well,
just
if he
seems
puts
kind
more
of,
stuff, he needs more room.
it seems kind of,
The guy he had a blonde garage, it burnt down.
Yeah. But when you're going down one, and I don't know
Right by
west,
the
north, south, when you're heading towards Front Street, down
South.
Wall Street, you can't see that stop sign. You can't, and I know it's there, and I
Yeah.
stop.
I'm assuming we've already talked to this guy.
We had that checked, the police department checked it last year.
As I mean, like, I know,
He's parked far enough away, whatever it is, 20, 25 feet, but with the height
yeah.
of the
have we
camper.
ever talked to him and said like, hey, we realize you're
I never
within,
did, but
and basically like, hey, we realize you're within legal limits of the stop sign, but this is a concern, and some people, like, would you mind for public safety moving it to an alternate, we talked to him.
Like move back. in line
Yeah,
or
like, hey,
something.
like, this is a problem, I mean, that just seems like the first step, maybe, Let's go talk to him,
We can offer.
yeah.
second thing is, someone asked me today about property on the 800 block of Washington Street. Is there a 4-story unit building going up, Greg, that was six?
Talk about it, we have seen no paperwork or anything.
Someone asked me what's going on back there, cause they were supposed to come to council with it. I said that would probably go to zoning, but
I believe that they're accurate that because of it being four stories, it's the same part of zoning as, with a trailer park, where that does need to come before council for approval for a 4-story building. Now they're, like Greg said, they're not at the point yet where they've submitted anything, but we are aware that they are at least planning to propose that supposedly, but we're not at the point yet where they've actually turned that into where we would do it, but yes, that one would be one that would have to come to council, at least based on our current zoning provisions.
Would that be like the 32nd Avenue and?
it'd be by the MA in that area.
Yeah, yeah,
Is there something on the line?
no.
It's an empty lot. I think the property transfer was just in the paper recently.
Not the lot next to the annex.
No.
No.
The one next to, between Second Avenue and the alley behind.
Okay, there's an alley there, the alley that can,
Second
yeah,
Avenue,
yeah,
Third Avenue.
I know what you're talking about.
It's like a gravel lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and second guess myself, special exception or conditional use, I always in my head confuse myself, but the same thing as what the trailer park was for mobile home park, we had to approve it right over here. As of right now, that would be a council approval thing, it would look like a zoning hearing, but it would not be in front of the zoning hearing board, it would be in front of council.
Someone just asked me today, so. I said, I have no idea, I'll bring it up.
And at this point, it's
It's just talk.
it's probably a little bit more than just talk, but we're certainly nowhere near the point where something's happening.
It was a neighbor of the property somewhere in that area. That's all I got.
I'll just mention real quick to Dave, or Reagan's, the traffic speed coming up front and down Second is pretty high. I know we talked about it once, but I'm just gonna throw it out there again.
I got a couple things on behalf of the Stout family and also Berwick Fire Department. I wanna thank the community and everybody that came fire and lost everything. The outreach of the community was unbelievable. I was there, and there was people from that neighborhood, different areas showing up, had no ties to this family, and was handing them checks to help these get some clothing and stuff, which is unbelievable. And then for the fire department, the outpouring we had of people dropping water off at stations and everything else. So, as the mayor always says, we are a small town with a big heart, but it was really nice, it was touching. Couple other things.
Before you move on, there was,
Yeah.
I saw there was 2 firefighters injured, are they okay?
Yes, they're fine. One had heat exhaustion, he was treated and released, and the other one, had a rapid heart rate at the time.
Okay.
She was checked out, treated and released, and right now she is off the job, until she actually gets full release from her cardiac.
Bill, actually, one other question on that. Was there any damage to the house across 16th Street?
Yes, I just, progressed, not progressed, I dealt with like 5 different, Erie Insurance contacted me today. The gentleman's coming out, that's at 1514,
Yeah, we got that. I wanted to make sure that
yeah,
was, okay.
yeah, he contacted me today, he was coming out into town tomorrow, he's got like 3 different ones in the area. But that one there, he wanted to make sure the address and the damage, and went through the whole fire report, fire marshal, my report, everything's been done for the main fire, and then for that one, and the vehicle, there's like 3 different insurance companies all involved. But yeah, everything. Excuse me. Also too, this Thursday night, at 6 o'clock, myself, the Berwick chiefs, and all the Berwick school district chiefs, which includes Summerhill, Salem, Nescopec Township, we are meeting, here at City Hall. This is already occupied, we can do it upstairs, it's a small group. We're meeting with two representatives from Columbia County. We are starting to work and put together, the training will be in the spring, late winter, early spring. The training will be basically fire personnel that voluntarily do this, not mandatory, there's a lot involved in it, but it'll be for mass casualty. There's a division in Bloomsburg area they call it the Southern Division, which is school district stuff. So if there be an incident ever at one of our school districts, the people that are trained and qualified and everything on this team will be assisting Chief Rafferty's, the SWAT, and everybody else. So we have the details on that, but it's just preparing if there ever would be that situation in our area. We have crews and stuff that would, so.
Is it Rescue Task Force?
Yeah.
Green? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, also too, this Saturday, Salvation Army here in Berwick, the whole Salvation Army is, celebrating 135 years, actually in Berwick. So it's a big event for them. They are hosting their event at Reliance down there, and they also asked me this year, which I felt was an honor, their 135 years, to be the, I guess, chairperson, big bell ringer, or whatever, to kick off the season, to represent the Salvation Army. So it's quite an honor to actually be appointed to do that and stuff, but that'll be this Saturday. So festivities will be going on. Anybody from the borough is more welcome to stop down. They'll have some memorabilia there and stuff, but please stop in at Reliance.
What time is that?
I believe that starts, I think 2 o'clock. I think it's 2 o'clock, Jay. I gotta look. Yeah, so when you leave the park, Jay, you can swing by. So just pull around back, they'll slide you something out the back door like a food, cake. Anyhow, so that's all I really have, but, like I said, once again, thankfully, that's our first biggest fire we've had in a long time. And, the outpouring of this community is just unbelievable. It really is. So, that's all I have, unless you have something for me.
Anyway,
While downtown today on my walk, I was approached by a citizen in town who says he likes to get daily walks in, and from his place to downtown, which is his most frequent route, it's 2 miles. He says, I can do the 2 miles, but once I get to downtown, there's no place really for me to sit down and relax to finish the trip back home. So could we think about maybe putting a couple benches on
St. Charles
this-
Park.
Pardon?
St. Charles Park.
There actually
Nobody goes down.
there actually will be benches going in imminently. They are on order from, this is something that Blueprint did. A few different folks have paid to sponsor them downtown, so it's no borough cost, but there should be benches. The order is in, I don't know what the expected delivery date is, but that will be happening.
Will they go in front of businesses or is?
They are going places where businesses are saying it's okay to put them offhand, I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Some of
Okay.
them might be, I think some might actually end up being in the alleyway, but on the main block and a half of downtown is where they will be
Okay.
going, so they will be there and available.
I told him I will bring it up,
So you can tell him you got results that
If I see him, I very often, most often don't even see him, but I very rarely see him, let's put it that way.
One more thing real quick, I just happened to think about it, I was approached today, the one chief out of the Westbury Fire Company, he approached me, I guess he's looking to get some of the volunteer firefighters for the Run for the Diamonds. I know Jerry did it years ago, but he's looking to get some volunteers that want to walk the marathon with normal sneakers and stuff, but wearing their coats and stuff representing. I advised him, that's great, but you guys, I mean, it's not a fire activity, it's, if you just wanna do it, that's fine, but, you know, so. But I know you did a couple years ago, you walked like that, so, I won't be. No, I'll take my e-bike.
There's too many people in the house.
Take the governor off the agenda.
So, that's all I have.
There's too many people in the house, and you're not now.
Okay, is that it? Otherwise, Greg, you have anything for us?
You have my report, I don't really have anything else, that should ask a question.
Any questions? Okay, not hearing any, we'll move on. There is no old business. Item 8, approval of ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 2025-08, amending section 11 of ordinance 1060 of 1972, related to the harboring of certain animals.
This is just what we talked about last meeting.
2 meetings ago,
Yeah.
I guess the timing on the advertisement, but yeah.
The ducks.
With the ducks, and then also clearly separating the 10 pounds into a separate clause from the listing all the animals, because at the magistrate's office, they tie it all together, so.
I have a motion on the floor. I have a second. From Ray? Tom? Oh, Tom? Oh, Tom, okay. I saw you raise, I thought you were.
I pointed.
You snuck it in. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It passes. Okay, item 2, resolution number 2025-05, authorizing application for a statewide share LSA grant.
So you have the text of this in front of you. The only thing just wanna point out is on the text that all of you have, we said to purchase 2 police patrol vehicles. It's updated, just need to purchase 3 police patrol vehicles. This is a zero match grant. I believe it's a $100 application fee. Obviously, it's very competitive, but we're gonna see if we can use this. These will be 2027 vehicles, so we won't know if we get awarded until next fall, but we're trying for it.
Question. I have a motion on the floor, do I have a second?
Second.
Raise a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. It's passed. Item 9, consent agenda. You've had time to look at it. Is there anything on there you want to take off of there and discuss separately? Not hearing anything, I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed. Okay, Jerry and Nelson, second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. It's approved. I will sign it.
Go ahead and hand it to you, and you can leave that. She wanted you, I didn't ask you that.
She's the whole time just waiting.
She likes us. You're obviously welcome to hang around,
Oh,
but
no, but I'll be back on Saturday. for
sounds
the-
good, we'll see you then.
Thank you.
She has it back now.
Jay has the podium between us, so we can't see.
Okay, item number 10, new business. Consider and take action to approve advertisement of the Borough of Berwick year 2026 municipal budget.
I just
Motion
asked,
to advertise.
really quick, I just asked if we could say to be considered at either the 17th or the first meeting in December, just to clarify.
Yeah.
Yep.
Motion with the first meeting, yeah.
Okay, that's what I assumed, just want to make sure.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Do I have a? Okay. Okay, Teresa and Jerry seconded it. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Okay, there are no added items. Item 12, citizen correspondence, personal appeals, anything that you wish to address or question council on. Anybody have it? Not hearing anything and having no other questions? Oh. Yeah, following adjournment, council's gonna meet in an executive session to discuss lawsuit number 4:25-CD-00597-MWP. We won't take any action on it, we just have to discuss it. What? I have a motion from Nelson to adjourn, do I have a second? We're adjourned.